Hey guys, Hugh Sheng here. In today's guide, we're going to be covering TVP scouting and early game basics. So we're going to split this one into a couple parts, and by the end of this guide, you should have a really good idea of how to scout your opponent, figure out exactly what they're doing, make sure they're not up to any shenanigans, and how to deal with it as well. So in part 1, we're going to be covering how to identify cyber first versus Nexus first versus no Nexus. And so these are going to be some slight variations where no Nexus would be, the most all in, and Nexus first is going to mean you're basically safe to get all the stuff you want. And then in part 2, we're going to be focusing on getting the tech scout. So this is pretty critical to progress into the mid game in a good position. We want to know whether Protoss is opening Twilight, Robo, Stargate. So in part 2, I'll be showing you how to get that, what times you want to go in, etc. Part 3 will be dealing with the adept harassing your building command center. So there's a bit of nuance there. If the adept shades straight across, so I'll show you how to defend that as well, because that can be a little frustrating if you're making some common mistakes. And then last of all, we're going to be covering the build popularized by Beastie Cutie, the maxpax, how to identify that, and then a pretty basic response. So let's get into the guide. Alright, so the first thing I want to show you is just how the Protoss build plays out. So then you'll have a good idea of what you're facing. So here I'm just playing Protoss, doing a cyber first build. I even placed it at the natural, so it's going to be quite a bit faster than if it was placed in the main. So this will be a good experiment test. So I'm going to finish the gate, throw down the cyber right away. And then when the cyber finishes, we're going to make an adept. Chrono boost that so it's as fast as possible, and then we're going to boost it twice across the map, and then by the time it arrives here, we should have a bunker finished, and it should be just finishing maybe a couple seconds earlier. So you'll be able to defend this adept. So this is a cyber first adept, and it arrives at about 2:45, and I'll show you in a second another replay where we see how to get the bunker by that time. So let me just find it here. So this is another replay just against the AI, but I'm playing Terran. And we can see that the bunker is going to be finished by 2:45. So this is based off the 111, but you can easily find it for some other builds as well. So 14 depot, 16 racks, 16 gas, 19 Reaper, 19 Orbital, just the standard opening. This SCV is normally deflecting the probe, so I just have him kind of patrolling over here. Obviously there's no real person here, so he's not doing any real job, but that's what he would be doing, is deflecting the probe. That's harassing your barracks, your CC over here. And then that guy's going to make the depot. And assuming you scout this at 140, that he's going cyber first. So that would be the 4 bars at 140. Then you're going to use this SCV to make the bunker. Of course, this depot has to be put down at the right time. So if you're late on that, you might want to grab a different SCV, but you should be able to pull this guy, start the bunker at 2:15. And this will be done by 2:45, which is when the adept shows up, or when the adept's like over here. So it's a little tight, but this bunker will be perfectly timed to defend that adept. You can put your Reaper in there, you can put your Marine afterwards, and you'll be pretty safe against that. Okay, so that is cyber first, and I'll be right back for Nexus first. Alright, so here I'm loading up another game. This is one where I'm playing Nexus first. And so this adept is going to be quite a bit later, and we'll look at the replay again as well, where I react to a Nexus first build, and we'll see that we can delay the bunker quite a bit. This is also not really that viable as well to send this adept across, because your Reaper will be right here. So if they send the adept across, then you can go harass them and defend with a bunker. So they shouldn't really do this, but of course you do need to have the bunker just in case. We'll see. Again, I'm shooting this adept twice. and he's not arriving until 15 seconds later than the Cyber First build. So 3 minutes. So you got quite a bit more time to get that bunker down. So let's go and take a look at the Terran response to this. Should be this one. We'll load it up. So in the last replay, I had to delay my gas. But in this one, you'll see that we can still get quite a quick gas and also get the bunker down in time. So this is the ideal situation. So this is all the same. Grabbing our CC, grabbing our depot, and then against the Cyber First build, we finished this depot, and then we immediately made our bunker. But because we know that he's opening Nexus first, actually let me go back to 140 and show you what that would look like. Although this Protoss is doing some crazy stuff. But if we were here at 140, it would look like about this far along. So about 8 bars. And so you would know that's a Nexus first. And then you can be very relaxed. Grab your depot. And then instead of sending this depot to build the bunker, you're going to send this guy to build the gas. And that's basically the only change. After this, we can grab our reactor and then grab our bunker. So this bunker should go down at about 2:30. So if you want to just memorize the timings instead of the order, you can get your bunker at 2:15 if you're playing against Cyber First, and 2:30 if you're playing against Nexus First. So that's the Nexus timing, whether they're playing Cyber or Nexus First. And I will see you again in part 2. Alright, welcome back to part 2. So here we're going to be looking at how to scout the tech of the Protoss. So I'm just going to play it from here and show you guys when the SCV actually goes out. So here we are at 17 supply. So you're going to change your rally point from the of the CC to your opponent's base. And then this guy's going to arrive at, again, like I said earlier, 140. So do a little fast forward here. 140 he arrives. This is where you want to check the progress bars. So this is Cyber First. This is Nexus First. You'll get used to the slight nuance there. And then after you've checked that, so you'll keep in the back of your mind whether you're going to get the bunker at earlier or later, before the gas, after the gas. And you're going to do a quick sweep like this. So you're going to shift Q. If I select this SCV, you're going to shift Q all around the base. And basically what you're looking for is the 2 pylons and where they are. Because if you know where they are, it's going to be a lot easier to send your Reaper in later and see what tech structure he's going for. Okay, so that's the basic plan. Let's go to the Protoss replays so I can show you guys when you want to go in. So first off, we'll go with the Cyber First build. So here I'm playing Protoss. And when they open Cyber First, they're obviously going to have the faster adept. And they're also going to have a faster second unit because Protoss is going to be trying to deny your Reaper from killing probes. And so that's actually going to delay their tech. So they're going to have a slower tech when they open Cyber First. So you see here, I go Adept. They could go 2 Adept, I suppose, but here I'm going Adept and then Stalker. And then I'm going to throw down the tech structure around 240. So I think the best way to get this tech scout is to either come in. Well, first of all, they have to send the Adept out, which they're probably going to do because that's the whole point of Cyber First. But if they don't send this Adept out, if they just leave both their units here, then you can't scout them, period. So that is one way the Protoss could play it out, I suppose. But Cyber First is putting them a little behind, so maybe it's okay to just scan in this case. Or just play more defensive, might be the more economic route. Like, you could just make a mine out of your factory to blind counter oracles, and then just play it from there. But if they do send the Adept out, which they probably will, then you can jump in here a little after 240. Like, you don't need to come in right now when I put it down perfectly on time. You could come in before this next unit. So I mean, A stalker takes 30 seconds plus chrono, so you can come in within the next 20 seconds. So anywhere before like 2:55 should be good. And you can grab this tech scout, and then if your Reaper dies, no big deal. Maybe kill a couple probes if you want, but the real focus is to get this tech scout. So you don't really care too much about killing anything or even getting out. You just care about getting this tech scout. But of course, all that extra stuff is icing on the cake. So if you can get that, that'd be pretty sweet. And let's look at the Nexus first build as well. Make sure I got the right one here. So you're going to see that my tech is quite a bit faster. Of course, I'm also not sending out the unit, so that makes it easier for Protoss to get their tech a little earlier. Okay, so Nexus first. Here I'm going to open adept, and normally they won't send out this adept. I just showed you earlier the fastest it could get there, but you don't really need to worry about it. And so you can see right away that I'm getting this tech structure crazy fast. So you want to run in here almost as soon as the Reaper arrives and just try to get in and see what the tech is. And it's pretty unlikely that Protoss is going to delay this. If you want, you can wait a little longer. And this second unit shouldn't be finished by 2:40. So if you want to come in right at 2:40 against the Nexus first, then you can do that. And he should have the tech by now. If he still doesn't have the tech, then he's really delaying his tech, and it's just pretty bad. Like all the Protoss timings are going to be late by like 30 seconds. So as long as you play safe, you should have an easy time holding whatever build he's doing, because it's just so late. So yeah, so this is the how to get the tech scout. So just to refresh, if it's cyber first, you're going to want to come in here at about 2:40, before 2:55 at least. And then if it's the Nexus first build, you're going to want to be coming in maybe 2:30 to 2:40, so a little earlier. All right, cool. So that's it for part 2. I will see you in part 3. Okay, so here we are, part 3. So I'm in the replay where I was getting the fast bunker, as if the opponent was opening cyber first. And this is probably the only case where you're going to be defending the adept, or at least it'll be the harder one. So when this depot finishes, we're going to grab the bunker, and it's important that you place this bunker really tight to the CC, because what's common for Protoss to do is shade this adept over behind the CC, and the CC is not going to be done, you know, when the bunker is finished. So you're defended, you're safe, but you can still get harassed. So I'll fast forward here to 2:45, which you guys will remember is when the adept will show up. So we're actually a little too far. And right here, you want to make sure, well, here I am doing it wrong, but what you want to make sure is this SCV that builds the bunker and this SCV that is building the command center, whenever it's done, they're going to come into the main, and you're also going to mule the main. So you basically don't want anything on the CC until you can get 3 Marines, which is the number you need to push back the adept. So here, this adept shades in. Your SCV over here shouldn't die, or it really even shouldn't get attacked. But if the adept does attack it, you can use the halt command, pull him off. You can jump into the bunker if you need to, if he really YOLOs for your SCV. And you can also halt and then right click to make the SCV construct only on this side. So normally the SCV will switch paths. So here we got kind of lucky. So that was nice for us, but sometimes it'll go across. If it starts to go across, you can just halt it and then right click on the building, and it'll randomize a new path. So I mean, it might go across again, but it also might go this way. So basically you can just continuously halt, right click until it goes where you want it, and then it's going to be farther away for the adept to target it. So you can continuously do that, and you also have the bunker to jump into if you need. So you should be able to finish this easily without the SCV dying. And then if for some reason the adept is just hanging out over here being annoying, just don't send any SCVs over there, like I said earlier. So this stupid SCV should go up here. And then if he's just hanging out, you just gotta wait. Like you don't want to bring your SCVs and try to fight it because he's gonna get some SCV kills. So you just want to be patient here. Remember that Protoss opened a little less economic than usual. And once these 2 Marines pop out, you'll have 3 total, and then you can fight the adept and push it back. So Protoss should probably leave right now, and maybe you don't even have to fight the adept. He just pieces out, and all is good, and you can continue along your build. If you want, there is one more thing you can do, but it sacrifices the scout. So what you could do, you'll have to trust me on this one, but the adept, if you run straight across the map, you'll be able to meet the adept, maybe at the ramp here, like 225. And what you could do is just kite the adept with the Reaper. It's actually possible to kite the adept. So, I mean, it can shade on you, but that'll slow it down a bit. And if it's not shading, then you can just continuously kite it. So you can probably bring the adept down to like no shields, or even maybe a little lower hull damage by the time it gets over here. And then you can probably kill it with just your Marine plus Reaper. So then you don't have any idle time. So if you want to do that, you can, but obviously the downside is you don't get the scout on time, so you're a little more blind. But I mean, if you're going to open like Mine Drop or something like that anyways, and you're going to have, you know, the Oracle defense, then it's possible to go that route. So just an idea for you guys. And yeah, that should be it. Should have everything covered there. So I will see you guys in part 4. All right, so in part 4, we're going to be looking at the response to the maxpax. So I don't have a replay with the maxpax, but I'm going to talk you guys through it. So here's our scout. You're coming across the map. And this is kind of a funny build because it looks like a Nexus first before Cyber. So you get here, and the Nexus is actually quite far along. So it's probably like this, and so it looks like a Nexus first, but it's actually a proxy gate. So when you come in here, what you're gonna see is no gateway. The maxpax places a second pylon right after the first one. So their pylon might be over here, and their gate's over here. And so when you come up, you're just gonna see the cyber. So it's really important that when you're doing this scout, and you identify that it's, you know, Nexus first in quotations, that you double check that it's not a maxpax. And then once you've come up here and you actually see the gate, then you are good to delay your bunker. But if you come up here and, you know, there is no gate, then that's how you know it's the maxpax, and you want to make this bunker as fast as you can. If you can somehow start it right now, then it's going to be done before the first zealot arrives, so it's a really easy hold. But if you delay it to like 150, you're going to need to pull some SCVs and buy some time. So after you've identified that there's no gate here, you're going to keep the Reaper at home, and you're going to pull maybe 4 or 5 SCVs to get here by about 205. So I mean, you don't need to pull them till maybe right here. pull 4 or 5 SCVs. Fight the zealot, whichever SCV he targets with the zealot, pull that one back. You shouldn't lose any SCVs. And then by about 210, right about here, you're maybe having the battle. The bunker should finish. You can have your Reaper jump in, have your Marine jump in a second, and maxpax is pretty defended. So the crucial scout is 17, running right up the ramp, and just making sure that Protoss actually has a gateway at home. And once you've identified that, then you're safe. If you don't see the gate, you got to go through the maxpax response. All right, so there you go, guys. That's most of the early game stuff you need to know, if not all of it. If you guys like this tutorial, please subscribe, like. I'd really appreciate it. We're building this channel up. Got lots more content coming soon. And I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.